Good afternoon. This is Media Center Ukraine, Odesa, and we continue. I would like to remind that you can ask your questions online through Viber, Telegram, or WhatsApp. You can now see the QR code on the screen. You can scan to ask your questions. So please join our briefing. In the next 15 minutes, we will discuss the Meridian Odesa poetry readings to be held on the 3rd, 5th November in Odessa. And our speakers are Sviatoslav Pomerantsev, President of the International Literary Corporation Meridian Czernowitz, and Yevhenia Lopata, Coordinator of the Meridian Odessa poetry readings. I would like to give floor first to Mr. Pomerantsev to tell about the concept of these poetry readings. Thank you. First of all, I would like to say that I love Odessa. I feel here as if it were my home. Perhaps because this is because of my Mediterranean blood. The Black Sea is a harbor of the Mediterranean. And Odessa and the whole south of Ukraine and Ukraine itself can also refer itself to the Mediterranean culture. I'm not sure that Ukraine was aware of that before our briefing. Now the whole of the country knows. And this is quite an interesting construct. Because the closer we to the Mediterranean, the farther we with the north neighbor. And Igor Pomerantsev, who is a journalist and also who is my uncle, and also Igor Pomerantsev believes that Bukovina is the far part of the Mediterranean area. So this is the call of blood, and also I have Odessa blood. My great-grandparent used to live and work here. He knew well the Odessa synagogues, and my grandparent was also lived in Odessa, and there were tragic events related to Holocaust here in Odessa, and so I feel here at home. I adore Odessa, and my antennas were also fine-tuned for Odessa. And we always had some activities here. And in 2022, 2023, we had a huge project of literature network uniting 24 cities of Ukraine. And in every city, we had 5 evenings of well-known Ukrainian writers and poets, and also local poets and writers, and those from IDPs, and even during bombardment, shelling, and blackouts, we visited Odessa together with my friends, Yuri Androchovich, Katerina Kalitka, and perhaps Yevgenia will remind me of some of them. In 2016, we had Meridian Odessa. That was a 3-month literature festival in the Green Theater. Every week, interesting writers visited Odessa, including Oksana Zabushka, Serhiy Zhadan, Yuri Drachovich, Ada Rogovtseva, Igor Pomerantsev, Les Poderiviansky, and many others. And this is not an accident that we are here today. This is our systematic and planned work. We are well motivated because of our personal position and the civil position. And we are ready to announce that from the 3rd November to the 5th of November, Odesa will host Meridian Odesa poetry readings. Before the invasion, perhaps we would be called Poetry Festival, but festival from Latin means something festive. We are trying to not to use this word so far because we cannot celebrate anything during the war. The general concept is that it will have 3 days. There are no entertaining events. This is more about discussions, about raising awareness. And after the 3rd, 5th November, like Andrei Lyubka, Yarina Czernowitz, and Irina Tsilik, supported with some journalists, will go to Mykolaiv on the 6th of November until the next day in Kherson, and then the 8th November in Zaporizhzhia. So the information about these 3 locations can be found on the web. Except for Kherson, there will be no announcements there. And now I would like to give floor to Yevhenia Lopata. But the key issue who will be the guests, and as for the stars among poeters, and Yevhenia will share more details about the literature and artistic part of our event. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for the invitation, and I would like to thank the Armed Forces of Ukraine for the possibility to be here in Odesa. Just to make a step back, we're a cultural international literature corporation which is based in Czernowitz. We've been dealing with cultural management for 14 years now, and our main 2 objectives is to raise awareness about Czernowitz in the world through the cultural sphere, and also to represent Ukraine abroad, because we are not only a festival, we're also a publishing house, and we publish books of Serhiy Zhandan, Yuri Andrikhovich, and many more. These are the ambassadors of Ukraine in the world, and that's why our international activities are aimed at promoting Ukraine abroad. After the beginning of the full-scale invasion, we continued our activities in cultural diplomacy, but it was very important for us to be active parts of the Ukrainian literature market, and the project mentioned by Yaroslav was supported by USAID to support different organizations and involvement of writers to create the network. And in the framework of the project, we visited Odesa, and back then we understood that Odesa deserves a big literature festival, especially when a lot of events in Odesa are cancelled or delivered in other cities. So that's why we wanted to cover the south of Ukraine more, to give voice to Ukrainian literature, and because the development and existence of Ukrainian literature in the south is one of our priorities. That's why we decided to have such a big event covering 24 cultural events. It is supported by the USAID and the USBI project, and also with the support of the Ukrainian Institute of Book. These events are aimed at cultural literature awareness raising with the involvement of the leading Ukrainian writers, poets, and intellectuals. We have been working with them for more than 14 years. To be more precise, there are 3 blocks in our program. First one is the presentation of books, of modern Ukrainian books, dedicated to the full-scale invasion, dedicated to the whole Russo-Ukrainian war. And this is also poetry, and also the pieces of Ukrainian writers who are volunteers or who have joined the armed forces of Ukraine. So this is the prose which is very important for Ukraine now, and it should be presented. And in the framework of this program, we'll present new books, such as the book of Galina Kruk, Irina Czernowitz, the future books of Andrei Yubka, Peter Pomerantsev, Anatoly Drostovoy, Valery Puzek. And this is a well-saturated program. And the second block is dedicated to poetry. We'll have Sergei Zhadan, Ivan Malkovich, Irina Tsilik, Irina Czernowitz, and Oleg Kadanov, and the Odesa journalists, Milimko. And the third block, this is the regime and the format of public interview. Ukrainian bloggers will take public interviews from the Ukrainian writers, like Sonia Koshkina, Roman Kravets, and Yanina Sokolova, and they will interview Igor Pomerantsev, Sergei Zhadan, Valery Puzek. Will Odessa bloggers be invited? They will be allowed to interview. These are public interviews. And the questions can be asked after the event. We are limited in time, and every interview will be up for 1 hour. And Leonina Sokolova and Sonia Koshkina can in Kyiv interview them, and we have great YouTube channels and Odessa bloggers to take such public interview. The public interview will be on the stage with the audience. We have already selected the host. This is the proposal for the future, maybe to give more floor to Odessa bloggers and journalists. But all participants of readings have direct access to people, and also to invite for the interview. But you're perhaps right. This is a proposal. This is not like a comment. And there is one more event, a separate one, which is important, dedicated to the commemorating Alexander Roybert, our friend and colleague. And when Alexander was alive and here in Odessa, every visit to Odessa was related to meeting with him. And that's why it would be strange not to discuss our friend. That's why we have such a commemorating event. This will be the discussion and also the poems of Alexander Roybert. And in our publishing house published a book with his poems. And unfortunately, Alexander had never seen this book published. Also, the draft was approved by him. And we also would like to invite you to this event. How can people get to these readings? Will be there some registration? Yes, there is registration by QR code. We have such printed programs in the Union Center, which is our main venue in Troitska 43, and here you can find QR code. And if you Google Meridian Czernowitz, you can also register at all events, and we should also have additional registration and entry to get to the hall. But we will be able to better monitor the situation to get ready for the amount of people. The entry is free, and in Union everything will be on the second floor in the big hall. And when there is 15-minute break, and also the air raid alerts are important. That's why our briefing is delayed today, and we do not want air raid alert to interfere with our events. Then we will continue online, and we will ask our audience to get to bomb shelter to watch online broadcast from there. Online stream from there, so we do not want to stop. And as soon as the air raid alert is over, we can come back to our home. So we will start at noon until 10 p.m. non-stop. will people be able to buy books there on the spot? Yes, we will have the book trade fair. We will have the books of all participants presented there, all our guests. And as for poetry readings, until the 8th of November, in the underground gallery of this cultural center, Union, we will have the exhibition of paintings. The painting, we call it the paintings that became books. And these are the paintings, the art pieces of important, interesting Ukrainian artists like Katarina Kasyanenko, Olena Pridivalova, Matvey Weisberg, Vlada Kostyrka, and also graphics of our friend Sergei Zhadan. And these paintings were used as the covers for books. That's why near all these art pieces you will be able to see the books with the relevant covers. So at one space during this week, people will be able to see the representatives of prominent Ukrainian artists. We also have event for children with the involvement of Yevhenia Zavali. There will be the workshop master and for children. And of course, we can see the star participants, star guests of these poetry readings. And maybe there are some poets, some writers whom you couldn't invite to such poetry readings, whom you would like to see. We would like to see Sofia Andrukhovich, Yuri Andrukhovich, but these writers represent Ukraine abroad. That's why they have very hectic schedules. It is very difficult to get them. These dates were booked for these two writers, and they are now abroad, so we could not invite them to Odesa. But as for the first festival, we have implemented our ambition, and we hope that this will be only the start of the annual festival, and this is our objective. And in the upcoming years, we would like to bring more writers and to involve them as well. And it is also very important for us for military to participate, the military writers and poets, because their voice is very important. And there are a lot of writers in the armed forces of Ukraine, like Valery Puzik, Artem Chekh, Irina Czernowitz. We are limited in time, 24 events, but we believe in our victory, and we believe that in a year we'll be able to meet here in Odesa with a wider circle of poets. We wanted to bring Yuri Izdrik here, but he has pneumonia now. He will not be able to get from Odesa to Kalush. But these stars will come to Odessa the next year. Thank you very much for joining us today. We would like to wish you successful poetry readings in Odessa, and we are waiting for the next year. I would like to invite everyone, and please register, because there are sold outs for some of the events, and we need to organize additional seats for all people together. So please register. But if you come with a friend who is not registered, you will be able to do that at the spot. So, yes, but it will take time. It will take time of organizing. But everyone could get to the event. It is very important for us, for everyone to be there, to join the Ukrainian culture. Thank you, Sviatoslav. Thank you, Yevhenia, for joining us today. And we will continue our work at 1 p.m. Thank you.